Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Loomigurumi Big Duck, which was designed by me. So I asked you guys if you would be interested in a couple bigger designs, as well as when I went live one time, you guys kind of expressed to me that you would be interested in some bigger designs. And a big duck was like the top request, so I have made a giant duck. It's kind of hard to show him because usually I film in such a small area, but he is kind of huge. So here's a comparison to my mini duck. So this is not my regular size duck, this is my mini duck. And yeah, he's kind of massive. Okay, so this is the mini duck, this is the big duck. He's absolutely huge. I try to usually do designs that don't take many bands, but you guys said you wanted a big duck, so I made a big duck. And this guy isn't too band heavy, I think, for how big he is. He takes around, I want to say 550 bands. I haven't done the band count yet, but I want to say it's around like 550 because I used like a brand new pack of neon to make this guy. And I did have some left over, but not a lot, so I would say he takes probably around 550 bands, which is a lot of bands, but not too many, I think. I don't know. You tell me, but I actually think this design is really fun. It's also just kind of fun because like how massive he is. I'm just talking about this duck forever, I'm sorry, but yeah, so we have this duck. There's also this guy I made who's like the first trial run. But yeah, I absolutely love them, and I hope you guys like this duck as well because you expressed you wanted a bigger duck. So I hope you like them, and I hope you decide to make them, and I hope they're not too band heavy. But yeah, so there we have our big ducks, small duck for comparison. Yeah. And I'm not going to make too many big designs, just want to say. But this was something that you guys seemed really interested in. Also, like, my duck is my most popular design. I also think this is the last size of duck I'll be doing. So we have the mini duck, we have the regular size duck, and now we just have an absolutely massive duck. So I think we're good and we're complete on duck sizes after this one, but yeah. Okay, so what you're going to need to make this duck, of course you're going to need some bands. I recommend using a color you have a lot of for the obvious reason that he's huge. So today I'm going to be using cotton candy bands. And then we're going to need a hook. I'll be using my double-ended hook as usual. You can use any hook though. You can use a Rainbowloom hook, a crochet hook. We only need one side. I just really like my hook, so I'm going to be using my double-ended one. And then you're going to want another color for the beak. And then I used safety eyes actually because this guy was so big. I actually had safety eyes that worked better than the beads I usually use. And these are 6mm safety eyes, so yeah. I think that is it. We are going to get started. Oh, one last thing. Difficulty. He's actually not difficult. I'd say he's about as difficult as my other ducks are. The only thing about this design that it's going to take you a little longer is just because it's so big. I feel like my other designs are a little bit quicker. I don't know how long this tutorial is going to be because it's just such a big duck. So yeah, now I think that's it. I would say if you've made any of my other ducks, you should be fine to make this duck. So yeah, that's it. So we're going to get started. Let me just zoom you guys in a little bit. I had you really zoomed out because I had to show you my massive duck, but that sounds so weird. But we're gonna start small. So let me just get some bands over here, and then we will get started. So while I pick up bands, I'll start. I don't know if I already mentioned, but the pattern is in the description if you want to check it out, along with the band count, my Instagram links, everything's down there. But to start, we're going to start with a doubled cap band with stitch. I don't know, I feel it. Just messed up my wording. We're going to start with a doubled cap band with 6 stitches in it, so I will show you how to do that. So we will get started. Let me just get it to focus. There we go. So we're going to start by doubling a band on our hook. So we're going to take one band. We're going to wrap it around our hook once. So this is 2 times. So it's wrapped around twice. And then we're going to be putting 6 stitches into this cap band. So we're going to pull the band through everything on our hook, so the whole cap band. We're going to put both ends back on our hook. And then we're going to push the back loop over the front loop. Like that. And then we're going to go back into the cap band. We're going to pull the band through just the cap band, so not this last loop. We're going to put both ends back on our hook. We're going to push the back one over the front one. And then we're going to push the loop from last time over as well. That. And we're just going to repeat that exact same thing we just did 4 more times, so we have 6 stitches in total in the cap band. So we're gonna go back in. We're gonna pull a band through just the cap band again, so not the last loop. You're gonna put both ends back on your hook, and you're gonna push the back one over the front one, and then you push the loop from last time over as well. And we just gotta do that 3 more times. Also, it's bugging me because I don't know if the brightness is too bright, so let me just turn it down a little. There we go, that's much better. If my camera was focused. Okay, so once again we'll pull just the cap band, both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over. And we're just gonna do that 2 more times. So 1, and then 2. So now if you count, you should be at 6 loops. So we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And once you've made sure you have 6 loops, instead of going in through the cap band, we're gonna go in through this first loop here, and we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna pull a band through just the loop, put both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then push this loop from last time over as well. And then we'll be putting a C-clip on this band. So we're just gonna put a C-clip on it, just to mark where we end and start. Okay. Like that. I also don't know if I told you we needed a C-clip at the start, but we do. So, for the next row, we're going to be increasing everything, and what that basically means is that every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. And I will show you what an increase is in a second. I'm just picking up a few more bands. Okay, so this first loop already has 1 stitch in it, but because we are increasing everything, we're going to want to go back in, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do another stitch, so we'll pull it through that loop, both ends back on our hook, back one over the front one, and then you push the loop from last time over as well. That, and that's all an increase is. So an increase is basically just 2 stitches in 1 loop. So I'll show you again in the next one. So we'll go to the next loop, we'll pull a band through just the loop, push the back one over the front one, loop from last time, then we're going to go back in, make another stitch, and that's an increase. And we're just going to do that all the way around. So we're just doing 2 stitches per loop. So you know what was funny this morning, while we increase, I'm just going to talk, but I actually woke up this morning and was like, you know what I feel like doing today? I feel like filming a tutorial, which is so weird because, I mean, I love filming tutorials, but some days I definitely, like, I'm weird. Like, I won't feel like filming it, and then I'll start filming it and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I had fun filming. But this morning I actually woke up and I was like, you know what? I feel like filming a tutorial today. And I had the pattern written down for this, so I figured it was time to release the Big Duck. I absolutely love this design. I'm actually shocked at how much I like it, considering I usually love making smaller designs, but I do think that this one's just like so fun because it's so massive. So once we get to the C-clip, we're gonna make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it. So we'll just make a stitch on the loop that has a C-clip. If my band was cooperating. And then we're gonna take the C-clip off the loop it's on and move it up onto the loop that is on our hook. Like that. So now if you count around, you should be at 12 loops. So we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like that. Okay. So that was that step. We're going to be increasing again the next row, but we're going to be increasing every third, and I will show you what I mean by that. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to do 2 single stitches, and then we're going to do an increase, and then we just keep repeating that all the way around. But I am picking up more bands again. I don't know if you guys can hear my mother yelling. I don't know what she's yelling about. I told them I was filming, but my family is just a very, she's not like yelling angry, it's just my family's just a very noisy family, so yep. Anyways, like I said, we'll be increasing every third. So this one's gonna be our first one. I don't know why it felt twisted, but this one will be our first one. So we have 1, 2, wait, what am I counting for? I got distracted looking at my camera because it looked funny. Anyways, this will be 1, the next stitch will be 2. So we'll do 2 single stitches, so 1, 2, and then this one will be the third, and we'll be doing an increase on this one. So we'll be putting 2 stitches in this loop, because that's what an increase is. like that. So we're just going to keep repeating this all the way around. So we'll do 2 single stitches and then an increase, and we just do that all the way around until we get to the C-clip. So I'll show you again in case you were confused. So we'll do 1 single stitch, we'll do another single stitch, and then in this one we'll be doing an increase, so we put 2 stitches in this loop, and then we just repeat the process again. So we'll do 2 single stitches, so we'll do 1, and then we'll do 2, and then on this third loop here we'll be doing an increase. And we're almost back at the C-clip. So we're gonna do 1, and then 2, and then we'll do an increase on the third, and then you should be back at the C-clip. Like that. And I know I loom kind of fast, so if you aren't caught up yet, you can always pause the video, just remember that. This design does have a lot of rows that are really big, so I might loom a little fast, so this tutorial just doesn't take up all my storage space. So just always remember that if I get ahead of you, you can pause, do the step, and then hit play again. This is a video, so that's like one of the perks of this not being like, say, a live or something, is you can always pause. So just remember that. But yeah, once you get to the C-clip, you're going to make a stitch on the one that has the C-clip on it, and you're going to move your C-clip up. Like that. And now if you count around, you should be at 16 loops, so we'll start by counting the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like that. So now we are going to do something that's a bit repetitive. So we're going to be doing 4 rows normal, so it's going to be 4 rows of nothing but single stitches, and at the end of each of these rows you should still be at 16 loops. So I'm going to do probably 2 rows on camera, and then I'm going to go off camera to do the other 2, because it's pretty simple. So I'll show you what we're going to do. I don't know why I feel like I'm going so fast today. Maybe I am. I'm sorry if I'm going a little fast. But yeah, we're going to do 4 rows normal, just single stitches, and I'll show you what to do. So all we're going to be doing basically is we just do 1 stitch per loop all the way around. So we just do 1 stitch per loop, and we just do this all the way around until we get to the C-clip. And we're not increasing, so at the end of each of these rows we should be at 16 loops. I feel like I did go a little fast. I'm sorry if I did. I tried my best to explain, but whenever I get excited about making a tutorial for something, I tend to go fast. It just happens when I'm excited, so sorry if I was a little fast. But I am excited to make this duck tutorial. Like I said, I woke up this morning and I was just like, I'm ready to make a tutorial. So yeah, that's kind of also why I decided to do the duck tutorial next, because I know this tutorial is probably going to be a bit of a longer one. Even if the video isn't long, I know that there's a lot of repetitive rows, so yeah. I felt like it was a good day to do this tutorial. And we're almost back at the C-clip. But I need more bands. Let me pick up some more. Just picking up some bands. And I dropped some bands, it's fine. Okay. So once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it and move it up, and that'll be 1 row of single stitches. And like I said, if you count around, you should still be at 16 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that was 1 row. Like I said, we need to do 4 rows like this. I'm going to do 1 more row on camera with you, and then I'm going to go off camera to do the other 2. This was row 1, we need 4, so this next row will be row 2. And we're just going to continue doing what we've been doing, so we'll just do single stitches all the way around. You know, it was funny when I went live and everyone was like, I want a big duck design, and I was like, maybe I could do it. And then I literally got sick the next week and had nothing to do, and I just made a big duck. I was like, I guess I have nothing better to do. But when I mentioned in, what video is it? The flounder video? That I might do some bigger designs. You guys said you'd also be interested probably in a big cow. I'm not going to make all my designs big, probably just the ones that are a little more popular. So yeah, the cow would be one that maybe I would make bigger. You know what, just let me know in the comments if there's any designs you think I should make bigger besides the duck. I'm probably only going to do like 2 or 3, maybe, probably one more this year, and then that'll be it. Just because I like my smaller designs, but I do understand that sometimes having a bigger one is funner. So if there is a design that you would like me to make bigger, just let me know. But I think the cow might be the one I do next. Also, let me know if you just hate big designs and you're like, never do these again. No, I'm joking. I'll do a few just for the people who like the big designs. Even though I have to admit this one's fun. But once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it and move it up. So that's row 2. If you count around, you should be at 16 loops. I'm not going to count because I'm pretty sure I'm at 16 loops. Like I said, I'm going to go off camera to do the other 2 rows, and then I'm going to come back and show you what to do next. So yeah, so we have 2 rows. We need 4 rows total, so I'm going to do 2 more and then come back. Okay, so after the 4 rows, your duck should be looking a little something like this. So it should look about this big. I don't know how to explain it, but it should be looking something like this after you did the other 2 rows. If you stayed on camera with me, or if you just went off camera and did the 4 rows total, it should be looking like this. So now we are going to start decreasing. So we are going to be decreasing every third. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it at the start. I may have forgot, but in case it isn't obvious, we do start at the head and we are working our way down. I feel like that's kind of obvious because if you've made any of my other ducks, we always start at the head and then we work our way down. So we're doing that again, but yeah. So anyways, for this next row, we are going to be decreasing every third, and exactly how we like increased every third, except for on the 3rd stitch, instead of increasing, we are going to be decreasing. So yeah. So the one with the C-clip on it will count as our 1st stitch. So this is 1. And then we're going to do another single stitch, so it's 2. And then the next stitch will be the 3rd stitch, so we are going to be decreasing. So what it decreases is you're going to grab the inside part of one loop and the back part of the next loop. And you'll just make a stitch. And that's a decrease. So we're going to repeat that again. So we'll do 2 single stitches, so 1 and then 2. I let go of the loops. Gotta re-loop them. Just ignore this. So that was 2 single stitches, so the next one's going to be a decrease. So we're going to grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and then make a stitch. And we just keep repeating this all the way around. So we'll do 2 single stitches, and then a decrease. I feel like I'm going kind of fast for this design, but I know that this is like technically the part that takes the shortest amount of time, because once we get to the ducks, like, I guess his butt, basically just the bottom half, it takes a little while to go around because it's just so big. So this part is quick, but the next part is gonna take a little bit. And it's not hard, it just takes a while, because if you saw the duck, it's just massive. Anyways, once you get to the C-clip, you're gonna make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it and move it up. Like that. And now if you count around, you should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you should be at 12 loops. And I don't remember if I wrote this down. Okay, I did. So that's it for that row. But for the next row, we are going to be decreasing every 4th. So it's the same thing kind of as we did this row, but we're going to do 3 single stitches and then we're going to do the decrease. So we're doing 1 more single stitch this row. I seriously don't know if you can hear my family. I keep hearing my mom laughing. I think they're watching a Hallmark movie together. I think it's too soon for Hallmark movies because, I mean, it's July when I'm filming this. So they have like Christmas in July on Hallmark, and my family has just been watching a bunch of Christmas movies. So it's interesting. Anyways, we're going to start this row. So we're going to be decreasing every 4th, like I said. So this is 1, 2, 3. So we just did 3 single stitches. We counted this first one that had a C-clip on it, so 1, 2, 3. And then the next one will be a decrease. And then we just do this all the way around. So we do 1, 2, 3 single stitches, and then we'll do a decrease. And then I think it's just single stitches back to the C-clip at this point. Yep. So then once you get to the one that has the C-clip on it, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has the C-clip on it, and you're going to move it up. So now if you count around, I believe we'll be at 10 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're at 10 loops. So now we're pretty much done, and this is basically the head. We're going to keep going, but now we're going to increase everything. So now we're kind of like increasing to start making the bottom part of the duck. So this next row we are going to be increasing everything, and it's exactly like how we did it at the start, where every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. So we'll do that in a second. I am just picking up bands again. It's funny because usually I can go like a couple rows without picking up bands, but this duck is so big I'm like having to pick up bands after every single row. Anyways. So we're just going to be increasing everything. So this one already has 1 stitch in it, but we're increasing everything, so we're going to want to go back in and do another. Like that. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way around. So in case you forgot what an increase is, all it is basically you're just doing 2 stitches per loop. I also don't know why it looks a little bright right now still. Whenever I like cut it off, I have to readjust the brightness when I come back. I had to cut it off to do the 2 rows, and then I come back and the brightness is all whack again. But it's fine. But we're just increasing everything. So we're just doing 2 stitches per loop, basically. I think we're going to have 20 stitches after this row, so we're already starting to get a lot bigger. But yeah, we're just increasing everything. See, it's starting already to take me a little longer to go around. But we're almost there. Okay, and then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it and move it up. Okay, so I believe we should be at 20. So we're going to count around to make sure we have 20 loops. So let me just focus it. So if we count around, we should be at 20. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we should be at 20 loops. Okay, so now we're going to do the row that is probably the hardest row in this whole thing, and it's a little bit weird, but it's when we do this weird, if you've made my other ducks, you know what we're about to do, but it's when we chain up a few to make this, like, part that comes out for the duck butt, basically. And it's not super hard, it's just like the one row that is very different. The rest of this is kind of very repetitive. So this is like the hardest row on this design, but it's not super hard. And I will try my best to go slow and explain well, so yeah. Okay, I'm just double reading my instructions while I pick up bands real quick. Okay, I know what to do. I always just have to refresh my memory by reading my instructions, but I know what I'm doing. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to do 4 single stitches. So this will be 1. This one's 2. 3. And then 4. So let's just double check to make sure we have 4 single stitches. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So on this next loop, which is the 5th loop, we are going to be chaining up 4. So let's just really quickly do that. So we're going to chain up 1, Yeah, okay, we'll just chain up 4. 2, 3. I was debating doing it a different way, but we're just gonna do it this way. 4. So once you've chained up 4, like single chains, you're gonna pull a band through just this chain, push the back one, put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and you're gonna pull it tight just so it doesn't come loose. So it should be looking like this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back in through this first loop, and we're gonna put 2 stitches on basically all the loops until we get up to this end loop. So we're gonna put 2 stitches on each of these 3 chains. So we're gonna do 1 stitch. We're gonna go back in, do another stitch. So that way there's 2 stitches. And then we'll move on to the next chain, do 2 stitches. So 1. And then 2. Then we'll come up to the next chain and do 2 more, but I need to pick up bands. I'm just picking up some bands. So we'll do 2 stitches in this one. And then once we get to this last chain here, we're gonna loosen up the stitch we made a little bit, and then you'll just put that end onto your hook, and then you'll push the back one over the front one. So you should now be on the chain that is on the end, and on this chain on the end, we're gonna be doing 5 stitches in total in it. So this one already counts as 1, so we're just gonna do 4 more stitches in this loop on the end. So 2, 3, 4, then 5. So then if you count, you should have 1. Well, you can kind of see the stitches if you look at it from this way, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go down and we're going to do 2 stitches on these 3 chains again, but on like this side of the chain, as you can kind of see. So we'll just do 2 stitches in each of these chains. And then we'll do it in this last chain. And I'll recap what we did in a second. Okay. And then once you've done that, all we're going to do is we're going to come to the next loop, and we're just going to make a stitch. So let me just recap what we just did real quick. So it should look like this, and what it'll kind of look like is that there's 4 stitches in this one, 4 stitches in this one, 4, and then 5. But what we did was we just did 2 on this side, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. Then we put that band that we tied the top on, we slid it in, then we did 4 more stitches. Then we did 2, we did 2, we did 2 more, and then we were back at the duck bit. So you can kind of see what I did. Yours should be looking something like this, so it kind of looks like you have 4, 4, 4, and then 5 at the top. Like that. So I hope that part wasn't confusing, but it's just going to be single stitches the rest of the way around the duck until we get to the C-clip. And I'm picking up bands again. See, this, I knew this was going to happen because it's so big, I just have to pick up bands so much. But yeah. I'm probably going to be talking about a lot of random things in this video just because it takes me so long to go around these rows. Okay. So we're just going to be doing single stitches the rest of the way until we get to the C-clip. We've been doing a lot of single stitches, so I'm not going to explain too much, but you're just going to want to do single stitches the rest of the way. So I guess since we have some time for me to, well, while we try to get to the other side, I guess I can talk a bit. So one of the things that I don't know if I've mentioned on my channel yet, and I've kind of been busy. I mean, I've been keeping up with my loom contest and everything as well, which is still going on, by the way. If you're watching this before August 10th, you can still enter my loom contest. I'm giving away some bands. I guess if you're watching this between August 10th and 2022, but yeah. But it's going to be so hard for me to choose for that contest. So I've been busy with my contests and there's been so many good entries, but besides that, I've also been getting ready for college because I'm going to be leaving my hometown in like less than a month to go to college, which is insane. I technically have already been in college, but I was in my local community college, and now I'm transferring to university to finish off my bachelor's degree. It's in art, of course. But yeah, so it's kind of been insane. And I've been just trying to get everything done because I got accepted not very long ago. I got accepted into the school I wanted to be accepted to while I was 6, so I probably got accepted like 2 weeks ago, and I've just been trying to get everything done so I can go to school this fall, so it's been interesting. But we are done with the row, so let's count around to see how many loops we have. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So you should have 36 loops, which is a lot of loops. So let me just double count to make sure. I'm going to count off camera real quick. And it's going to be really silent because I don't want to pause, but I need silence to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, it's 36. I just have to make sure. Okay, but the next step. So it's going to get really competitive. Repetitive. Not competitive. My brain. It's gonna get really repetitive right now. So we are going to be doing 5 rows of single stitches all the way around this. And it's gonna take a second to go around because we have to do 36, well there's 36 loops, so it really takes a while to go around. We are just going to be, like I said, doing 5 rows normal of just single stitches, and I might just stay on for the first row and then go off to do the other 4. We'll see how long it takes me to do this first row, but yeah. So we're just gonna do 5 rows total. It's very similar to how we did the 4 rows normal in the head, but now we're doing 5 rows normal on like the butt, I guess. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, we're just gonna do 5 rows of single stitches, and this one's gonna be row 1. So we have to do 4 more after this row. But yeah, we're just doing single stitches all the way around. And make sure you go into all the stitches because some of them are going to look a little awkward because of how we came out here. But so just make sure you don't miss any. I would say make sure you count after this row because this first row is always the most awkward one. So just make sure that after this row you still have 36 loops. But yeah, we're just going to do single stitches all the way around. I also think I need to zoom my camera out a little bit because I kind of keep bumping into it. So let's just zoom out a little bit. Oh, that's much better. Okay. So we're just doing single stitches all the way around. And we do this for 5 rows, and this is row 1. Anyways, back to what I was saying while we go around this guy, because it takes so long. I don't know, I honestly don't know if I mentioned it already, but I'm like leaving for college. It's kind of sad because, like, Brad, my sibling, is staying here for college, and I'm gonna have to leave because of the school I want to go to. And I'm happy I got accepted and all that, but it's just really weird for me because I've never left home, and I'm kind of like moving out. So yeah, it's exciting. I don't think I've said anything about that on my channel. I'll probably mention it in like a different video soon, but yeah, it's kind of interesting because I'm moving out, so my setup might change soon because I will be somewhere else in. I'm still in Texas, but I'm gonna be somewhere else in Texas, which is exciting, but also terrifying. I'm excited for my art classes, but it is gonna be weird not being in my hometown because this is literally my first time not living here in my entire life, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting, but I'm excited. But college, like the application process and everything has been keeping me busy though. Also, I had to find an apartment, so it was just like a whole mess. So this past week, I've literally just been doing like all the stuff I need to do to get everything done so I can just go to school this fall, and it's been quite interesting. I also think I'm 100% gonna get lost on that campus because I got lost at our community college, and I swear our college only had like 3 hallways. It was one building. It was such a simple campus, and I still managed to get lost even though I was there for like 3 years, I think. So I plan on getting lost on at the new school I'm gonna go to, which is exciting. I might film some videos just for the memories of me leaving to college. I've been thinking of maybe doing like a week in my life video just to kind of show what my life is like right now. Also, just I feel like that would be a cool video for me to look back on, as well as I'm gonna finally do a room tour because I'm not gonna fully move out because I think for sure during the Christmas break I'm gonna come home, but yeah, I don't know about the summer break next year, but for sure I know probably this winter break that's gonna be in December I'll come home for. But so I'm not like totally moving my room, I'm just moving like a couple things. I also gotta like figure out what bands to take with me because I'm not gonna like stop doing tutorials or looming. I'm like, I've gotta take them with me. One thing I do fear though, because I don't have this problem at home, is like right now I have stuff I made out of bands from like how long ago? Like literally since I started looming. So I have stuff I made from like 7 years ago and it's still in one piece, but stuff doesn't last like a week at my grandma's house, so I'm so worried that the place I'm moving to, that my loom things are just gonna die. Because I don't have to deal with that right now. I know some loomers have that problem where their things just break apart. I'm so lucky that I don't have that problem, and I'm so worried that the house I'm moving to, that my loom things will die, so I'm just hoping that my bands don't have that problem. But there's only one way to find out, so let's all hope my loom things don't die over there. I'm not gonna bring them all with me, but I am scared. Anyways, that was one row around this thing, so let's count. So we should have 36 still, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Why do I have more than 36? I think I didn't count right. Let me count off camera. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Why do I have 37? I must have increased somewhere on accident. Now I'm just checking to make sure I didn't accidentally increase anywhere. It doesn't look like I did though. Are we supposed to have 37? Okay. I don't know how many bands we're supposed to have. Oh no, okay. Let me just go count everything. Okay, quick update. I can't count. I actually had 36. I just can't count. So that was row 1. Like I said, we have to do 5 rows in total, so I think I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna do one more row on camera with you, and then I'm gonna go off camera to do the rest. I just always do 2 rows on camera, so we're just gonna do the 2 rows. So that was row 1 of single stitches. Like I said, you have to do 5, so this will be row 2, and I'll stay with you to do this one, and then we'll go off camera to do the other 3. And I'm picking up bands again. Okay. So once again, we're just doing single stitches all the way around, and we're just going to continue doing it. Yeah. So we just keep doing single stitches all the way around. I feel like this tail part's like the most awkward part to do single stitches on. But yeah. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. I think I was just talking about college. I don't even have my classes yet. School starts in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I'm not sure what days say. Actually, school starts in exactly 1 month when I'm filming this, from when I'm filming this. And yeah, I don't have my classes yet, but I have a meeting on Tuesday to get my classes. I'm hoping to take either printmaking or ceramics this coming semester, so we'll see. I hope I can get if I can get the good ceramics teacher, because I was already like googling all the teachers. hopefully I can get her, I will take ceramics, but if not, I'll take printmaking. So it's all very exciting. One thing that I have been thinking about kind of this week, I'm kind of so relieved, because if you don't know, I've worked at a rolled ice cream shop for 3 years already. I did switch shops one time, so it hasn't been the same shop for like 3 consecutive years. It was like, I worked at one for 1 year and then I switched shops, and then I've been working at that one for about 2 years now. And I'm kind of glad I'll never have to roll another ice cream again, hopefully, because as much as I love my job, never rolling another ice cream again sounds amazing. I'm also I want to try something different. Like, I kind of want to get a different job, you know, do something different, because I've just been working at rolled ice cream places for like so long. Yeah. Yep, but even though when I was looking at where my house is, like where I got my apartment and all that, there is a rolled ice cream place in the area, and I think I'm going to apply for a job there. And I swear, if I get hired at another rolled ice cream place, I'm gonna cry. No, I'm not. I actually really like my job. It's just sometimes, I mean, I like rolling ice cream. I've already worked there 3 years. I'm really good at it, but I don't know if I want to work there, like work at another rolled ice cream shop. But if we're being honest, if they're hiring, I will probably get hired because I have just so much experience, which is interesting. But yeah, I honestly don't know what bands I'm going to take with me. That's been another thing I've been thinking about, because if the apartment ends up being like my grandma's house where bands break in like weeks, I am not taking my whole band collection, because I do have a lot of bands. I will bring, like, I'll probably just get like a neon bucket and just take that with me and be like, yep, this is all I need, because I do not want to take all my fancy bands. I also only have like 2 years of school left, so like, I'll go this year, I'll go next year, and then I'm literally gonna graduate, so. Unless I fail something, but I haven't failed a class yet, so hopefully I won't fail. But I've literally not had to, like, I haven't had to drop any classes, or like I haven't failed any. When I was at my community college, I usually do pretty well, and plus I'm already in my art classes. If I had to take a math class, this would be a different story, but I'm already in my art classes, so hopefully I'll be able to just go to the school for 2 years and then I'll be able to come back. So yeah. Plus, I really honestly do think I'm gonna end up coming home during the breaks, because why not, you know? I am so excited to see what classes I get, though. Like, I just want to know what my schedule's gonna look like for the fall already, because it's literally in a month and I still have like no idea. So weird. Okay, but I think we are finally done with the 2 rows. I hope you enjoyed my college talk. But we are done with the 2 rows. So we just did 2 rows of single stitches. Like I said, we have to do 5 total. So I'm gonna do 3 more rows, and then I'm gonna come back and I'll show you what to do next. And there's actually not too many steps left, so we're actually almost done. I honestly think the longest and hardest part of this design is just how many, like how big it gets at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna go do the other 3 rows, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I just finished the 5 rows, and it should look something like this. Also, do not take your hook out, I just took mine out. But it should be looking something like this at this point. Also, right now is a good time, if you're using safety eyes like I am, to put them in before we forget, because I always tend to forget. Here's where I put them in on the other duck. We're going to want to put them in about the same spot. Safety eyes, to me, are always hard, because I like kind of beads that I can put them in after, but, I don't really have beads this big, and I don't like how big beads look this big. I mean, you could tell what the front is, obviously, because of this, so we're just gonna put the safety eyes in now, and I'm just gonna put them in right here. First, I usually just stab them through to make sure, like, where I want to put them makes sense. Yeah, that looks about right. And then we'll just put the backs on real quick. And I'm gonna do this off camera because I'm bad at putting the backs on anyways. And then we'll continue, but I just wanted to remind you, because I'm so bad. I don't know if anyone else is like this. Someone probably is, but I'm so bad at remembering to put the safety eyes on, because you have to put the backs on too, and I just forget. It's also so hard to put the backs on. I'm struggling right now. Wait, I almost got it. It's not going very well. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got one back on. It's not even on all the way. There we go. Now we have one back on. Let me just do the other one real quick. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, you should be putting, if you're using safety eyes, put them on. I also finally got safety eyes recently. I bought them off Amazon. Does anyone else try like not to buy from Amazon too much? I always do, because I feel like we're just such a big company. I literally, I try not to buy from them at all, really, if I can. They're just too big of a company. Because, like, I think it's my dad. He orders, like, everything from Amazon. Well, almost everything he needs. But, I usually only buy, like, stuff for my Etsy or usually just, like, beads and stuff. Because there's some craft supplies that are just harder and, like, way more expensive to get in store. Or they just don't have them in store, really. So, it's, like, Amazon's good for some things, but I don't buy everything from Amazon. Or I try not to. I don't know. Why am I going on about this? Anyways, we are going to get started now that we have the eyes on. I honestly don't know if I have them a little high. Okay, let's look at this duck. Okay, no, they're in the right spot, and it's fine. So, for the next row, we are going to be decreasing every fourth. So, we're going to do, just like we did before, we're going to do 3 single stitches, and then the fourth one we do a decrease. So, this is going to count as our first one again, so that's going to be 1. This one will be 2, and then the next one will be 3. So we just did 3 single stitches, so if we count, I don't know why it looks blurry, focus. So if we count, we should have 1, 2, 3, and then since the next one will be the 4th, we'll do our decrease here, like that. So we're just going to keep doing this all the way around, so we do 3 single stitches, and then on the 4th one we decrease. So, yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3. So we just did 3 single stitches, and now we're going to do a decrease. So we grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and just make a stitch. And we just keep doing this all the way around. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And we do decrease. And I need more bands. I feel like it takes me so long to go around these rows. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to talk about to fill the silence, because it just gets very repetitive because of how big it is. And I was thinking about the other thing that I've been kind of doing this summer that's been really fun, because after I got better from being sick, because we had gotten a certain virus. I honestly don't know if YouTube will unmonetize you, because I don't know if you say, but we got a certain virus, and right after we got better from that, there was like, because if you don't know, I am Catholic, so all the Catholic churches in my hometown are doing a volleyball league, and it was really so many thoughts, but it was really fun because I joined like the second weekend and everyone else was already like had kind of practiced a bit and was doing good, and I am not athletic, so it's funny because I guess because of how I'm built or whatever, well, I'm kind of tall, so everyone always thinks, I always get asked if I'm like athletic, and I'm like, nope, I am just a little bit tall. But yeah, volleyball being with other people who are more athletic, I mean, it's just a for fun league, but you can definitely tell which ones of us are athletic and which ones aren't. It's funny because my little brother, he plays like a lot of different sports, and he's in the volleyball team. He's in like the division under me because he's younger, and he's just like diving everywhere to like get the ball and all that, and I can't like, I just can't do that. It's just so funny. Also, my best friend was kind of annoying me because like a couple times I did like kneel down to hit the ball up, because you have to like, I guess you kind of have to get lower in volleyball sometimes, and whenever I would kneel down or fall over slightly, my best friend would be like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, dude, I'm fine. I'm not this fragile. So he was annoying me a bit, but yeah, I've been playing volleyball with a church league and it's been fun. It's been fun, but it's also made me realize how not athletic I am, which I think is kind of funny, because I know I'm not athletic. Yeah, my best friend too, he texted me after on Wednesday, because that's when the games are, so on Wednesday he texted me afterwards and was like, did you have fun? You didn't seem like you did. And it's just like, dude, I'm not competitive. I'm not a sports person. Like, I had fun, but honestly, because, like, we won a game and we lost a game. When we won, he thought I wasn't happy enough, and I was like, I'm not competitive enough to care. I had fun either way. But yeah, it's been fun. Anyways, let's count around real quick. So we should have 29. So if we count around, we should be at 29. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So you should be at 29 loops. So now we're going to do a row normal. So we're just going to do row round of single stitches. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, you know, I'm also always hesitant, kind of. I also think it's funny, but okay, well, my brain always wants to go so many places at once, but I always am hesitant to say, like, I'm Catholic or whatever on this channel, because I am very much aware that Christians right now and, like, Catholics have the worst rap because politically they're awful, and I just want to clarify that I am not, like, homophobic or anything like that because I am Catholic. I like to think I'm one of the good ones. And by that I just mean, like, I feel like so many Catholics are... Okay, we don't want to get too political so we don't get monetized, but some Catholics tend to be a little bit homophobic and racist, and it's not good. So I just want to say that yes, I am religious, but I am not awful, and I will never shove my religion down any of y'all's throats, because that's not what this channel's about. This channel's about looming, but I am religious, though. You know what else? This is kind of related to the Catholic thing, but it has nothing to do with being... Well, it does, but it doesn't, because, like, I'm into art, right? And I've been really into art history as of, like, recently. Like, it's kind of been what I've been doing with my summers, is I really enjoy looking into things with art history. And, I mean, this is pretty obvious with how art is, but, like, the art and the church are just, like, so intertwined, or at least they were. So it's so interesting to see, like, the artists who made these pieces, like, what they were thinking versus, like, how the church treats the pieces. At least, I need to grab more bands, hold up. At least I find that so interesting, because obviously I grew up Catholic, and, like, you see the way these church treats the images, and then, like, I would listen to this painter Caravaggio's, like, life story, and, like, reasons why he was painting these paintings, and, yeah, it's so interesting to see, like, the difference between, like, what the artist was thinking versus, like, how the church acts. And it's lately been, like, one of my favorite things to look up because it's just so interesting. I mean, one of the parts I think... I'm going off on a hard history tangent here, I'm sorry. I really love art history. But we're still just doing row single stitches, and that's why I'm talking. But one of my favorite things that I love when I started looking into art history more is a lot of these painters would just paint the people around them as whoever these saints and stuff were supposed to be. So I think it's so interesting that, like, the church treats these images like, oh yes, that's what they must have looked like, when in reality a lot of the people in the paintings were people who were, like, around these people. Some of them are even, like, girlfriends or, like, boyfriends of these people. I mean, everyone knows, like, I believe it's in Da Vinci's Last Supper, he's the one who painted the Last Supper. I'm making sure, because I always mess up Da Vinci, and there's a couple painters I mix up, but him, the one who painted the Last Supper, like, everyone's pretty sure that was his boyfriend who he painted as Jesus, which I think is so interesting, because now everyone makes, like, the images of Jesus based off Da Vinci's, and it was technically his boyfriend, and that's one of my favorite art history facts. And I just think it's so funny. But yeah, we're gonna move our sequel up. And after that row, we should still be at 29 loops. I'm not gonna count because counting is too much right now. But if you want to count, you can. And sorry if I went off a bit of a tangent on art history, but it is one of the things I have been really passionate about lately. And just really enjoying looking up on. And I find it super interesting. I feel like part of it is because I'm Catholic, and then it's interesting just to see how they're all related, like the church and then the art, and then when I went to Europe, there was a lot of art that was obviously commissioned by the church, so it was just cool to see it all, and I've just been looking into all of it. Anyways, we're gonna get back to our duck now that we finished one row normal. So we're gonna do a row decreasing every third, and this is once again like how we did it at the start. So we are going to do 2 single stitches and then we are going to decrease. So this one will be 1, the next one will be 2, and then the next one will be a decrease. Like that. And we just do this all the way around. So we do 2 single stitches, so 1, 2, and then we do a decrease. And we just keep doing this all the way around. So we do 2 single stitches, and then a decrease. And we just do this until we get to the C-clit. Yeah. Now I'm just thinking about things, well, art related things. You know, I've been thinking and just mentioning, because I mentioned earlier I'm going to college, I'm probably going to minor in art history. I've been getting more into it and I actually really enjoy it, so I think I am going to minor in art history. So I don't even think I've told you what my major is going to be painting, and I'm thinking my minor is going to be art history. I originally was going to major in sculpture and then minor in painting, but I talked to some art people I follow, and she recommended to me, because she's seen some of my work, like my polymer clay stuff. She was like, your polymer clay stuff's really good, and she kind of knows I want to get a little bit more serious about what I'm making with it, but she kind of told me that it's not worth it for me to go to sculpture, because sculpture is very much like you get things and you glue them together. At least in school it is, and it's not like what I'm trying to do, and it's very hard to find a teacher who will kind of teach what I'm trying to learn with polymer clay. So she just recommended I do painting, and I kind of agree, because sculptures also tend to be very big and I prefer to work small. So yeah. Okay, but we are back at the start. So now if we count around, we should be at 22 loops. So let's just count around real quick. So we should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we should be at 22 loops. And now we're going to do a row of single stitches. So we're just going to do another row of single stitches all the way around. And at the end of this row, we should still be at 22 loops. And I'm not going to explain too much because we've already done so many rows of single stitches. But yeah. I'm excited to major in painting though. I think it's gonna be really interesting because I paint pretty well, but I think if I have a little bit of instruction on like how to paint better, I'm gonna be like really good. And I've looked at the painting program at the school I'm going to. I'm excited. The program seems good, so hopefully everything works out. But I am hoping to continue doing like my polymer clay thing on the side. If you follow my account, gingercel4, which is like my art account, and I just post random stuff on that account. I posted some of my polymer clay stuff. I'm also working on hopefully doing some bigger projects soon. I want to do a claymation thing, so yeah, I'm excited. I'm trying to do more with my art. I know this is a looming channel, but we are doing a bunch of rows and I have nothing to talk about except for whatever the heck I'm interested in, so I'm just talking. But yeah. But yeah. Yep. I am surprised that I've kind of gotten so much more into art history. There's this podcast I love. It's called Oh He Makes Horrible Jokes. If you do not want to hear horrible jokes, I don't think it's... He makes a lot of really bad jokes, and if you listen to the podcast you're gonna judge me, but one of my favorite art podcasts right now. And I love because he like does the whole artist story and then tells you about a lot of pieces, and it's just really educational and really cool. But he makes a lot of bad jokes, so this is your forewarning, because I'm going to recommend this podcast, but there is a lot, and I am not joking, a lot of bad jokes. So there's a podcast I listen to, it's called Art Holes. It's amazing, but there's a lot of bad jokes. I just love how he does the artist stories though, because he literally starts from like, sometimes even from before, just to set up like the world that they're living in. So he kind of like does a bunch of history on like where they're living and like kind of what's gone through at the time before. And it's just so interesting. I don't know, I find it so interesting. the series I'm currently listening to, because I listened to his Jackson Pollock series as well as the Caravaggio one. I'm currently listening to his one on Frida Kahlo, and it was so interesting because before he went into the artist's story, he did this whole episode just on Mexican history, and I am Hispanic, but I don't know any Mexican history, so it was so cool to kind of hear a little bit about that. But yeah, so I love his podcast. Just, if you decide to check it out, don't say I didn't warn you that he is absolutely awful with jokes, but it kind of makes it funny. But yeah, so we just did one row normal. We should still have 22 stitches. I'm going to count real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We should have 22. What the heck? 1, 2, 3. Did I decrease on accident somewhere? I might have. Hold up. We need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not even counting right. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We have 22. I just counted wrong on camera. So now we're going to do, well, we're going to stuff his head real quick, because I always forget to stuff him. So we're not going to stuff the butt yet, but we're going to want to shove some stuffing up into the head, because after this point, it gets a little bit hard to shove stuffing all the way up there, so we're just gonna shove some up right now, because it's a good time. And I'm doing this off camera because it's hard to do on camera. But we're just gonna shove some stuffing into his head. And like I said, we're not gonna stuff the rest of the duck yet. It's just right now is a good idea to stuff the head. So, like I was saying, for the next 3 rows, we're going to be decreasing every third. So we're going to do 3 rows, decreasing every third. And at the end of this row, so I'm going to go 1 row at a time, but at the end of this first row, we should be at 16 loops. And I think I need to zoom out a little bit more because the duck's getting bigger. Okay. But we're just going to do the same thing we did before, so we're going to decrease every third. So this is going to be 1, 2, so we just did 2 single stitches, so the next one's going to be a decrease, so we grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and make a stitch. And we just keep doing this all the way around once again. So we do 2 single stitches, so 1, 2, and then we do a decrease. Like that. And we just keep doing this all the way around, so 1, 2, then a decrease. I feel like I need to pick up more bands. But yeah. Yeah, I've been loving the podcast so that he does on Frida Kahlo. I am forewarning again. I cannot stress this enough at how bad his jokes are, but I feel like I kind of look over the fact that his jokes are so bad because I like the pacing and just how he explains everything's really good. I'm talking about the art podcast again, but yeah, just because I know some of you who watch me are younger, that podcast is absolutely awful joke-wise, but I appreciate it because of the art history and I kind of just really like how he explains things. But do not say I didn't warn you if you listen to it and you hear a bunch of bad jokes. It's not my fault. But yeah, I've been enjoying his podcast though he has on Frida Kahlo because I don't honestly know much about her. It's also really interesting because she is Hispanic as well. Wait, is she Hispanic or is she Mexican? No, she's Mexican. I'm Hispanic. I'm confused on how that works. I don't even know what the difference. Wait, no, Hispanic is if you're American? And I don't know how that works. I'm not gonna even talk about that. But yeah, it's just interesting. Also because I have like no knowledge about my Spanish or Hispanic culture, nothing like that. I don't know much. I don't even speak Spanish. I just don't know much. Anyways, we're gonna move our C-clip up. So, hold up. So technically the one that had a C-clip on it should be a decrease, and we're gonna do that decrease. We're gonna do the decrease on the one that has a C-clip on it. Because technically this is the third one, I realized after. And we'll move our C-clip up. So now if you count around, you should be at 16 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So like I said, we're doing 3 rows decreasing every third. So the next 2 rows are going to be doing the same thing. So that was row 1. We're going to do another row. And at the end of this row, we should be at 12 loops. So this one was a decrease, so we're going to do 2 single stitches. And then we'll do decrease. And we just keep continuing this around until we get to the C-clip again. So we're just doing 2 single stitches. And then we'll do a decrease. Like that. Oh my god, wait, I need to pause my camera before it times out. Okay, I had to restart filming because my camera was literally about to time out and I didn't even notice. Let me know if you guys have a favorite artist though, because I'm really interested in art, in case you don't know. And I'm trying to get more educated in just in this subject in general. So if you have a favorite artist, let me know. I don't really have a favorite artist right now. I'm still looking at a lot of different ones. There's a lot of different ones I like, but one of my favorites, I mean, he's kind of an awful person, but one of my favorites has to be Caravaggio, mainly because we share a birthday. That's a fun fact. He was born on September 29th as well, the best day to be born. And I think it's cool that I share a birthday with a famous painter, even if he was a bit of a rat. It's also hard to, okay, I'm going off on art tangents again, but it's hard to say how much of, why he was a rat, because the thing is, I think it's something with the paint they used that could have made him go crazy because of, lead poisoning and stuff. So we don't know how much of, if he would have acted that crazy had he been alive today, but he is an awesome painter, and I saw some of his paintings in person and I was blown away, so I love his work. But yeah. Anyways, we just finished this row, decreasing every third, so we're going to count, so we should be at 12 loops. So if we count around, we should have 12, and I'm putting my hook back in because I don't know why I pulled it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12. So now we're going to want to stuff the rest of the duck. So I've been using poly-fil just because I think it makes the duck a little squishier. I actually don't think I have enough poly-fil, so I'm going to probably fill the rest of him with cotton balls. But we're just going to fill him up. Oh wow, that's almost perfect, but he does need a little bit more stuffing, so I'm going to use some cotton balls. I need to remember to buy poly-fil, because I literally, right before I filmed this tutorial, I went out and I was like, do we have more poly-fil? Because we had 2 bags in the closet, but I guess my sister had used some, because she makes plushies occasionally. At least I think she's made 2 or something. So apparently she used 1 bag. I didn't know that, and I thought we had another bag, but we don't, so I have to buy more. But yeah. I feel like I talked about so many random things in this video, even though lately I'll rant to art about anyone who will listen, because I just find it so interesting. And yeah, honestly, seeing some of Caravaggio's pieces when I went to Europe was insane, and it was so cool because I would literally just finish listening to the podcast about him, and I had always wanted to learn more about him because we share a birthday, which is kind of cool. And I found out we share a birthday because of an assignment I had for a different class that I had to give a speech on someone who shared my birthday. I actually didn't choose him. I ended up choosing Halsey, who also has the same birthday as me, but I found out we shared a birthday because I didn't know if I wanted to talk about him at the time, because my art teacher, the one I went to Europe with, he told all of us when we were in his class that Caravaggio was kind of an awful person. And he was, but I feel like it's just hard to say if a lot of the people who were, I mean, he was 1500s. Well, no. Well, he was born. I never know how the 1500, 1600 things work, because I know, we're in the 21st century, but then the year's, 2022. So he might have been in the 16th century, technically, but it's just hard to say, if he would have acted the same if he was alive today. So I give, if they were awful humans, even though you shouldn't give some people a break, but he was just born 500 years ago, so it's hard to say if he would have been an awful person today. So I do like his work, but yeah, as a human, he was sometimes awful. And by sometimes, I mean, yeah, he was kind of awful. But honestly, if you ever get a chance to see his work in person, it is, like, it's just amazing. So I was shocked when I saw it at how good it was, because it is insane. And the piece I saw that I liked the most was his head of Medusa. So if you ever get a chance to see that one, see it, appreciate it. And yeah, it's just a good piece. Anyways, I finished stuffing. I was stuffing off camera because it was easier. So we're gonna do another row, decreasing every third. And then, believe it or not, we are very close to being done. I know this tutorial's probably been a long one. I know you're probably ready for your duck to be done. But we're gonna do another row, decreasing every third. So this one, again, the decrease landed on the C-clip, so I just decreased. Did we already count? I don't remember if we counted. Well, if we didn't count, we'll count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you should be at 12. This one was a decrease, so we're going to do 2 single stitches and then decrease, and we just keep doing that all the way around. 2, and then we decrease. We just keep doing that all the way around. 1, 2, and then we decrease. You know what's funny? Because I'm just going to say this while I just decrease real quick, because it's just a quick thought, but you know how I said that, like, it's hard to say how he would have acted had he been alive today, because, like, the lead paint really affected a lot of, like, artists back then and kind of made them a little crazy, or the paint they used. I once was at a live stream of art, and it was for an art brand. They had an artist on who was doing an artist talk, and I was watching, and there was some people in the comments who were like, why don't you supply, like, I believe it's lead white is the one that was very toxic. And there was people nowadays wanting that paint, even though it is so bad for you. And it does, like, awful things. I don't know exactly what it does, but I know you can get lead. I think you get lead poisoning from it. And people want to paint with it now. Like, why would you want to do that? I don't know. I saw it at an art live stream once, and I was like, just why would you ever want to paint with that paint? But, yeah. Anyways, we just finished doing another row, decreasing every third, and we should be at 9 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So at this point, we can take our C-clip out. We're going to just decrease absolutely everything until it is closed. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease. And yeah, then our duck will be pretty much done. And we just have to add a beak. I'm picking up bands again, I'm sorry. But we're just, every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we can't decrease anymore. So we're just going to do a bunch of decreases until we can't decrease. I was just so shocked. I remember when I went to that live stream and saw people being like, why don't you sell lead white? And it's like, cause it's toxic. I feel like some people feel like you have to have the exact art supplies that artists had before to make, like, amazing paintings, but I don't think that's true at all. Because I've seen people do amazing things with cheap art supplies, as well as people with expensive art supplies not do amazing things, so I don't think it matters. But I just thought that was insane, considering how, like, it's known that paint was toxic and people still want it. So weird. Anyways, I have the very last decrease up on my hook, so I'm going to pull a band through everything on my hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And now we're just going to tuck the tail in, and it's really easy to tuck the tail in because there's just so much space. Like that. And there we go. Our duck is done. Now we just need to add a beak, so let me go grab, I have some, what did I do with that pack of bands? Oh, that's right here. I just have this pack of mixed neon bands, and I'm just gonna pick out a few neon bands so that way we can do the beak. And yeah. Okay, sorry, I had to check to make sure I knew how to do the beak because it had been a minute, but I do. So I just paused to make sure I knew what I was doing. I know what I'm doing. So we're gonna do the beak, and then our duck will be done. And yeah. So we're gonna come right under where we put the eyes. So if you use safety eyes like I did, usually I just do the beak first, so you'll just put the beak where you want it, but if you're using beads, you can just tie them in after. But I use safety eyes. So I like to put the beak right under where I put the eye. And we're just gonna stitch 4 times, like, across the face, right under the eyes. I think the beak looks cutest if you go, like, super, super close to under the eye. Like that. So we're just gonna stitch 4 times across. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to increase, and then we're gonna do a single stitch, and then we're gonna increase. So we're facing this way right now, so we're just gonna turn, so we're facing this way. And like I said, we're gonna increase, single stitch, increase. So we're gonna do an increase on this first one here, which is kind of why I didn't care if I kind of stretched out my bands a little too much, because I think I may have gone a little too far, but it's fine. Then we'll do a single stitch, and then this one right here will be an increase. And then we're gonna turn, so we're facing this way, so we're gonna turn this way. And now what we're going to do is we are going to decrease, do a single stitch, and then do a decrease. So it's going to be a decrease, a single stitch, and then a decrease. And then that's it for the beak. We're going to come right here, we're going to put our hook through, pull a band through everything on our hook, and tie off. And that'll be it for the beak. Oh, I hit my camera, I didn't like how that sounded. Hopefully I didn't accidentally scratch anything. But you'll just hide your tail into your duck. And I actually really like how this beak turned out. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but it looks pretty good. And then there you go. Your duck has a beak. I think the beak looks cutest when it's really close to the eyes, so that's why I try to, like, really put the beak super close. But yeah, so that is it for this tutorial. I hope your duck came out okay. Also, I'm sorry if I rambled a lot during this tutorial. It's just the rows are so long, and I feel like I need to fill the silence. Also, I get kind of bored and I have fun talking to you guys, so I hope you enjoyed whatever I rambled about. But I think that is it for this tutorial. So if you make a giant duck, definitely share them with me. I would love to see how they turn out. Also, yeah, I hope you like it, because a lot of you guys said you would want a big duck, so I hope this guy lived up to your expectations. But like I said, I think that's it for this one. So subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have some more tutorials coming. I can actually show what's coming next. I just want to say thank you to Loom Boss Sophia, I believe that's her name. I believe that's her, who is letting me make a tutorial for this adorable monkey design. I think it's so cute. So this will be the next tutorial on my channel. She's letting me make it, so thank you so much to her. And she actually asked me to make a tutorial. I rarely have people like ask me to do tutorials so much as I usually reach out to them, but they actually asked me, so thank you. But yeah. So if you want to see more the monkey tutorial when it comes out, you can subscribe so that way you know exactly when it comes out. Also, I have my Instagram and everything, Etsy, in the description in case you want to check me out anywhere else. I've been working on adding some more stuff to Etsy, so you can check that out. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can. I usually post the designs on Instagram before here, so if you want to see what's coming, I would say it's best to follow me on Instagram. I also usually post when I finish filming videos, so you can kind of get an idea. Because usually after I film a video, like 2 to 3 days later, the tutorial comes out, so yeah. But yeah, I think that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your duck came out okay. I'm not sure what I'm making them do. But yeah, I will see you in the next tutorial. Let me know if there's any other designs I should make big. But I think that is it. I will see you soon in another tutorial. But yeah, bye.